What is up, homies? My name is Felix and I'm here back again with another video for you all today. And today in this one we are going to be doing something that I am very excited about, I must say. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a Khruangbin type beat. Basically the band consists of 3 incredibly talented musicians. They have a guitar player, a bass player, and a drummer, so it's just a little trio. But they make some absolutely amazing, super laid back and chill music. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make a beat, song, track, instrumental, whatever, in their style. Alright, so the first order of business here, what are you going to need to achieve that Khruangbin sound? Ideally, you want to have drums, bass, and guitar. However, I am fully aware that not everybody has all 3 of those things. So fortunately, the only thing that you're really gonna need, bare bones minimum, you're gonna need a guitar. Because there's plugins out there that do bass pretty well, you can also program pretty live sounding drums, but the one thing they really haven't figured out a workaround for is live guitar. Also, you will need a few effects plugins for said guitar and also just other components within the song as well. But a lot of those effects you probably have stock in your DAW, your digital audio workstation, which brings me to the next point. You're obviously going to need a computer and some sort of digital audio workstation of your choosing. The digital audio workstation of my choosing is FL Studio, so that's what I'm going to show you guys on today. However, you can use whatever DAW you want because they're literally all the same and it just matters that you're comfortable. So like I said, you don't really need drums or bass. I will actually be using my drum set and my bass guitar for this video. However, I'm gonna, give you guys some alternatives if you don't have either of those 2 things. So now that we got that out of the way, let's start making this little track beat thing here. So they've actually said that the way that they write their songs is by starting with a drum loop, and then the bassist, Laura Lee, she plays bass over the drum loop, just fiddles around for a little while until she gets something cool, and then they send it over to the guitar player, he does his thing, and then they all kind of record their thing, and then they come together and learn the song. So we're going to be kind of following a similar process here in this video today, starting with drums, going to bass, and then putting some guitar over it. So that being said, let's record some drums. If you do need some help learning how to record drums in FL Studio, you can check out this video right here that I did. That video should get you on the right track as far as the whole drum recording process goes. So just a really quick little breakdown for my drumming setup here. We've got this little kick drum mic inside of the kick drum. Not too far inside though, just kind of lurking on the outside edge of the kick drum here. And then over here, as you can kind of see, we've got an SM57 classic microphone on the snare drum. Normally have a lot of muting and stuff going on with my drums, but we're taking the muting off today. And as you can see, we've got this nice shiny metallic snare drum, looks brand new. Guess what though, it's actually not brand new. This was just a crappy, rusty old, gunked up snare drum that I had, and I basically polished it up and restored it, put new heads on it, new hardware and stuff like that. But the reason that's important is because today with this drum pattern, we're going to be doing some rim shots, so a couple of these. And those just sound so much better on a metal snare than a wood snare, in my opinion, my humble opinion. Also, if you are playing live drums along with me here today, you want to make sure that you play pretty softly. You don't want to go too crazy, try to show off your chops or anything like that. Just very basic, simple drum pattern. So let's record these bad boys, huh? Something to note, I might actually go in and just record the hi-hat separately because this microphone is going to pick up a little bit of the hi-hat, and I might want to add some reverb, like some spring reverb onto this. But for now, I'm just going to record it all together so that we have some sort of basis. Something like that. I bet that recording is going to be awful. Probably it's the way that usually goes. Alright, so once you go in and find the section that you liked, you can chop it out here like this. And I didn't actually record to a metronome because I didn't really have a tempo in my head beforehand. I would recommend recording to a metronome because it makes your life easier. However, now what I'm going to do is just figure out the tempo, so... Alright, so now we got this going on. However, I will show you how to sequence a little drum pattern like that real quick. So real quick, first thing you want to do is go to my vintage drum kit, which actually has some great sounds for these types of beats. As you can see, we got a nice little rim here. A nice little kick for this, nice live sounding hi-hat here, and that's really all you need, to be honest. So basically just put your rim shot like something like this, and then with your hi-hat just right click and press 2, you'll get a nice little 2-step pattern, and then just put a couple kicks in here like this. And then if you want, you can add those little accenting rims like the ones I played on the drums. And now I'm going to show you a couple things you can do to make this a little bit more live, less like, you know, robot sounding. You can go to your hi-hats and then hit Alt-R, and this will just randomize the velocities. And then I like to just drag down every other one. And then you can also press Alt and then right on your keypad thingy, just to move it over a little bit, give it a little swing. And then you can also do Alt-R for all of the other stuff too, just Alt-R on this. And then for your rim or snare or whatever, I like to bring down the velocity of the accenting kind of notes. And then just go up here to this knob in the channel rack and just add a little bit of swing on everything. So yeah, something like this will sound really good as well. Stacks up quite nicely to the real drums. If you want a full video on how to program more live sounding drum patterns, got one there for you. You can check that one out. But yeah, so now that we have this, I'm going to assign both of these to a mixer track. So Control L, and then I'm just going to do a slight EQ on both of these. For the snare, we're just going to cut out a lot of the low end that we don't need. And then for the kick, I'm going to do the opposite thing. I'm going to EQ out some of the high end that we don't really need. But with your kick, don't go too crazy and just have something that looks like this, because that's just going to kill all the liveness of your drum and get rid of a lot of the other frequencies and stuff that you actually want in there. So you want to keep some of the high end in there. You want to boost a little bit of the mid frequencies and stuff. And then we're going to take both of these and route them to this drum bus that we have. This drum bus has just a little reverb, 2 compressors, and an EQ, and it sounds like this. And then I almost forgot with the rim shot, what I'm going to do now, just for the time being, is go in and add some reverb onto it. So I'm going to do like small studio or something and then just turn up the decay. So now, bass. So what I'm going to do here is just take this and loop it so that I can just mess around on the bass and try to figure out a pattern while this is just kind of playing over and over in my head. Look at that cable management. Isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? Alright, so I just recorded a little bass line there. It took me quite a while because I'm not a very good bass player. However, I think it sounds pretty good. I know I didn't talk much about the bass, but if you are recording your own bass, as you can see, it got the little bass mute going on. Gotta have a bass mute. Just keep it pretty clean and simple. You don't have to do a whole lot to it. She actually only uses one pedal, and it's just a compression pedal to kind of, you know, even things out. And then she just goes straight into a Fender bass amp, and that's pretty much all you have to do. So if you want to kind of recreate the sound, maybe just do a little compression, and then also do maybe like a little amp simulator or something like that. As far as when you're actually playing the bass pattern, don't go too crazy and do a whole bunch of chops and stuff. Just get a nice solid rhythm, get you moving and grooving. And once you have a nice foundation for the bass, we can move on to some guitar. Let's talk about guitars for a minute. Personally, one of my favorite things to do. This guitar right here is like a Stratocaster kind of vibe, which is good because he uses a Stratocaster most of the time on the neck pickup setting or one in from the neck pickup setting. But we obviously cannot just take what we've made here and just play clean guitar over it. Doesn't sound very good. It's pretty boring, and it's obviously not what we're going for here. Also, you want to roll back your tone knob a little bit as well. You don't want to have it super wide open here. All right, so let's build the effects chain for the guitar here. First thing we want to have on there, tuner. Make sure your guitar is tuned. The next thing we're going to put on here is a little phaser. Nothing too crazy, just want to give it a little movement, get it moving around a little bit. The next thing I want to put on there is a little bit of like saturation or distortion, just a light helping of distortion, because we're not going full metal with this guitar sound, we just want a little crunch. Next, compressor. Settings look like this. It's nothing crazy, just some light compression. Then we have delay. And this delay is also nothing crazy. It's kind of just like a little slap back, like barely noticeable delay. It's more just for the ambience than anything else. But then, however, reverb. Nice little bit of reverb there, just get pretty liberal with it, put a bunch of reverb on this bad boy. And then the final thing that really just brings the whole sound together is this amp simulator. It's a Black Sun amp simulator. The preset is background clean, and I've just kind of tweaked the settings a little bit. And now we're gonna have a little something that sounds like this. So at this point, all we really need to do is record the guitars now, and then that'll be pretty much it. Honestly, there's not a whole lot to this whole vibe here. It's just that every single part of their songs is very intentional and very meaningful. When you only have 3 members in your band, every single person needs to play a very important role. They do have vocals on some of their songs, but on a lot of their songs, they don't have a vocalist, so you as a guitar player are kind of acting as the vocals, as the storytelling for the song. You want to do a lot of these little hammer-ons and pull-offs and stuff like that. Also, you can throw some chords in there too. I forgot to mention, it doesn't have to be all lead guitar, but if you are doing chords, it's not going to be just straight chords. You're going to have to throw in some melody notes in there too, because usually Khruangbin songs are never ever just like chord, 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 chord. Also, if you are playing chords, try to stay away from the root of the chord, because the bass pattern is going to be taking care of those root notes while you are, doing your thing and telling the story. So yeah, then as far as the overall mixing and everything goes, I would say just go to your master track. I always have a soft clipper on. That's just how I do things. But I would also add like some tape saturation or something maybe, just to give it a little bit more color, a little bit more cool feel to it. One that I am very partial to is Realite Pro. Very good plugin. Maybe throw a little fresh air on the master. That's just a plugin that gives it some more like high end and stuff. But yeah, other than that, I think that's pretty much going to do it for me in this one here today. So yeah, that just about does it for me in this video here today. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I definitely enjoyed making this because Khruangbin, one of my favorite bands. Even though it was a relatively quick and easy video, I think I was able to, get the message across properly. But yeah, once again, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you guys go check out my Instagram and SoundCloud, all the other social media things down in the description below, all the playlists of songs I produced, beat store, all that stuff. And I will see you guys next time.